And now we've got another big storm on the way. It's good of you to join us. And I think you will be very glad that you did, because we've got snow, freezing rain, and rain. Quebec City's been seeing both of the first two types as forecast through this evening, and that'll continue through parts of the overnight too, with the warm front sliding along the St. Lawrence Seaway. That's the main risk zone for that mix. It's rainfall predominantly for the Maritimes. As we get through Monday, it will be heavy at times. Rain in green, snow in blue on the backside of the low, and that mixing moving out. How much rain? Well, we've got rainfall warnings. Southern New Brunswick, southern Nova Scotia, including St. John, including Halifax. 20 millimeters of rain, and with frozen ground, localized flooding certainly possible. A lot of ponding and pooling, not catastrophic amounts of precipitation, but with it being so slow moving, this could be 60 centimeters of snow for Labrador. There's your forecast, how you'll wake up dry in St. John's and quiet weather in Ontario, but a little cooler. Speaking of temperatures, in our morning benchmark, around -10 typically for morning lows, but last year, 2014, setting a new benchmark for temperatures. Here's Chris St. Clair. Well, above average temperatures as well. Winnipeg -8. What a start Monday morning. A few flurries for Regina, fog in Cold Lake, drier in BC. Suzanne Leonard, and the team. Good to see you on this Sunday. It is time for a look at your forecast. And we've got some improving conditions, I guess, visibility-wise. We've had some big snow today in parts of central and northern Ontario. Decent accumulations. No warnings in place, but it's been cloudy. It'll be sunnier tomorrow, and as those winds come out of the north and that cold air pushes south, the temperature contrast we've had today, -teens and above zero, that contrast will be collapsing. So, as we look at a trough come through, that's the cold air blasting in. -3 for Hamilton Monday, a few flurries Tuesday, -4 for Wednesday. Similar trend for Toronto, a little cooler than normal for this time of year, but nothing exceptional. And as we take a look further east, this is where things start to get kind of interesting. We've had some freezing rain this evening in Quebec City, along with snow. That's the warm air aloft overriding the cold air at the surface. Surface winds coming right down the St. Lawrence out of the northeast. Now, this series of fronts, we see one well-organized low coming together overnight tonight, continuing to intensify. The winds are out of the south. That's a warm wind, blustery, and you'll wake up to rain tomorrow morning. And it could be quite heavy at times during the day. We'll see that freezing precipitation change over to snow rather than icy weather along the St. Lawrence Seaway and through the eastern townships. But it doesn't look like it's going to be as much snow for Owl's Head and Sutton as we had originally thought. It will, however, be big snow for Labrador, and late day Monday as we dry up in the Maritimes, we see weather deteriorate in Newfoundland. A mix in western Newfoundland, but for St. John's, it's going to be mainly rain. Temperatures drop Charlottetown and across the Maritimes, and they'll stay a little above average for St. John's. So some messy weather as we look ahead. We had some great viewer video to start off this national forecast. How about if before we go to Western Canada, we take a trip with Kim McDonald around the world in 60 seconds. Oh, some beautiful lake footage there. Thanks for sticking with us on that one and continuing to contribute your images, the videos that tell the story. And across BC, we've had some beautiful stuff coming in showing us the big snow that you've had in the last couple of weeks. Kelowna, just last week, record snow. But overall, it's a quieter pattern with a little bit of Pacific energy east of the Rockies, bringing you a dusting of snow. The good news, no big storms for now, but there's still some active weather for the BC coast, and the January thaw continues in Western Canada. There's Kelowna, there's Red Deer, Saskatoon, Brandon. Saskatoon should be minus double digits at this time of year. We're a little cooler in Brandon by Wednesday, and that's a snapshot of the weather across the country. Great to see you on this Sunday. Suzanne Leonard and the weekend team here, and the January thaw continues. Western Canada, many areas at least 10 degrees above average. Big storm in BC dissipating. Tell you about the strong winds in a moment. And in Eastern Canada, this low intensifying. Isobars multiplying, the winds picking up. It's going to be a little tricky to get around for some. Is it still called the Eaton Centre? Well, that's how longtime Torontonians still refer to it. All right, let's take a look at the forecast. Snowfall in blue, mixing in red, rain in green. Yes, temperatures in the Maritimes tonight through tomorrow are holding and then rising. So we've got a bit of a thaw with soggy weather coming for you. Along the St. Lawrence Seaway overnight, the lead into tomorrow morning is more of this, more of a mix, and freezing rain likely along the St. Lawrence Seaway. Colder air sweeps in from the north. Ontario as a whole will be brighter and drier on Monday compared to Sunday. The low surging north, lots of moisture from the Atlantic, windy still coming out of the north, and I'll show you how it will affect temperatures in a moment. It is going to be still a Tuesday storm for Newfoundland and for Labrador. It's a couple of days of big snow for some parts of northern Atlantic Canada. For Windsor, Ontario, though, we're a little bit below zero. And for Toronto, a little below the average. But look how quiet this temperature trend is. Montreal getting into the colder air, minus 13 compared to those minus 4s and 5s in Toronto. So keep that in mind. On Sunday, with some strong winds over 90 kilometers an hour for Victoria, very early morning hours. As we look ahead to Monday and Tuesday, there'll be cloud cover around the south coast of BC, but the storm track is shifting somewhat, so the wetter weather goes to the north rather than the south until about Thursday. Here's Vancouver's trend. Thursday, Friday, a little unsettled. Temperatures near normal, temperatures above average for Calgary and Regina. About 25,000 customers lost power. But, you know, the upside of the winds, the downsloping off the coastal range, it was 11 degrees in Victoria at 7 this morning. Good to see you. Suzanne Leonard and the team. We jumped from the west coast to the east coast. Lots to update you on. This is our developing storm. It looks a little disorganized now, but this is a key feature. Look at the way that moisture is surging north. That's the draw off the Atlantic into this wide up of a low pressure system. Snow and blue and mostly a rainstorm, and that mix along the St. Lawrence Seaway. We've got some active weather coming to the Quebec City area. There are a combination of warnings, and they're overlapping in some cases. It's rainfall warnings, southern Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, wind warnings either side of the Cabot Strait. We've got winter storm warnings and freezing rain warnings in many parts of Quebec, including Quebec City, rainfall warnings for the eastern townships. So very active conditions. Extreme cold, by the way, Ungava Bay, northern Quebec, like the minus 40s. And feeling like the minus 50s in parts of the north. We've got some warnings for winter storm conditions and a watch for Goose Bay that will probably get upgraded to a warning. Why? Tuesday, Wednesday, snowy weather, and it will be starting tomorrow in Newfoundland and Labrador. On the backside of the low, it's some snow for the local ski hills in Quebec, but it is mostly rain with a big surge of mild air. Warm front moves in, that tricky positioning overnight, that warm air aloft, colder at the surface, that's the right setup for some freezing rain along the St. Lawrence Seaway. Then, as the warm air sweeps east, the cold air flows in behind the low. Messy in Montreal, slower travel in rather than home tomorrow, and there's rain across the Maritimes. Heavy at times. Strong winds, thanks to our viewer there for that blustery footage. I mentioned 11 degrees earlier, and you know, drier tomorrow and also Tuesday and Wednesday, really, for the south coast. We've got some winds still continuing, quite blustery around the foothills of Alberta. The conditions will ease up again overnight tonight, but while we've had this really strong pattern, and there's still some moisture coming on shore, rain and green, snow and blue on the radar, it's pretty unsettled but diminishing conditions through this forecast period. Take a look at the prairies. What we get is that blustery wind in the southern foothills, and then from time to time weak clipper systems developing, as we have seen today. Ontario, messy weather right now, but and also at theweathernetwork.com, some in-depth forecasts. But I want to show you the contrast across the country on this Sunday. Suzanne Leonard and the team with you. Look at the temperatures. Unofficial highs, 6 in Toronto, 3 in Halifax. Temperature swings, eastern Canada, and above average with this thaw continuing. Calgary 7, that's a good 10 above the normal for this time of year. How long is it going to last? Well, that ridge in the jet stream will continue this week, and milder air versus colder air, temperatures tumbling again in the next couple of days in eastern Canada. Snow to date. That seems pretty good. I think that's probably close to average. Certainly that number doesn't really surprise me all that much. It's where I think we would probably want to be, mid-January. With the rainfall, though, alpine snows, and we have had some big delays in the interior. If we look towards Monday and Tuesday, you can see there's still some dribs and drabs of precipitation, but overall, across the south, it is cloud cover with a drier pattern and even a bit of sun at times. So Monday morning, 5 for Halifax, or for Vancouver, pardon me. I'll go east in a second. Calgary 0, and Regina -2. So that's some good news. The thaw continues with mild temperatures for Winnipeg, but Monday's going to be very active with heavy rain in the Maritimes and snow and wind in parts of Quebec. There are a number of warnings for this area with expected travel delays. More on the storm coming up. Plus, 90-kilometer-an-hour wind gusts for Victoria. Thankfully, that's come to an end. Let's see, close to 20 centimeters of snow for Whistler. That's winding down too. Taking a look overnight, your national forecast. Still some broad bands of moisture in BC, but it is an improving scenario, whereas it's a worsening scenario through the Atlantic provinces and Quebec. Very messy along the St. Lawrence Seaway. Snow to the north, rain to the east and south, but freezing rain likely in a number of areas. So check your local forecast carefully before you head out. Temperatures and wind chills Monday morning, and then Monday afternoon forecast highs. It'll slump down again. Temperatures eastern Canada coming up. Try to follow the long range forecast. Well, here is Chris St. Clair.